Happy New Year, true crime friends. Welcome to 2025. There are going to be so many great cases this year. I'm hoping justice prevails all over. But first, we need to talk about this Rose Petal murder case. Y'all. Okay, look. In part 5, please know, there are only like 6, maybe 7 parts of this series. In part 5 of the Rose Petal murder case, for the record, my coverage, can we call this coverage really? Anyway, my coverage of this case is based on a podcast called The Fitz Files. You know, down there at the Fitz News, they did a whole series about this, about Zachary Hughes and all these other assorted terrible people. And in this series, it's called Return to the Rose Petal murder case. Oh, wait. The Rose Petal unalive case, because at the time, a year and a half ago, I was listening to that series and then I was like, you know, compressing it, summarizing it, and then just letting you know what happened every day. So in part 5, we find out about, well, everybody remains terrible. We find out the actual crime, like what happened, how many people and entities were unalived. Oh, yes. It was not just humans that were unalived. Some flowers were also unalived. Terrible. Now, look, I know that flowers have a short lifespan. Don't come at me. Don't get down in the comments like, but Kathy, flowers only live a few days anyway. Yes, I know, but you should maybe not desecrate them while they're still alive. Oh, I get very heated about it in this. And also, reportedly, I mean, I just saw it, so I know that I did it, but allegedly, I said some maybe untoward things about one Mr. Will Folks, and I would like to say now, for the record, I stand by what I said. I said what I said. Lastly, so that you know, on January 13th, today's January 1st, so like in 12 days, Zachary Hughes goes to trial. And I will be covering it here. Just like I summarized these episodes of the Fitz Files, oh, I will be summarizing Mr. Hughes' case. Oh, please, dear Black Jesus, let somebody be streaming that case, because that's going to be a good case. I will be perched. I will be there. I will be ready to hear every single thing they have to say. So look, this today, part 5 of Return to the Rose Petal murder case. Hey there, true crime friends. It is lunchtime. True crime. Honey, this case. Listen, we are back on the Rose Petal murder case today, and it is a mess, a hot, steaming mess. Look, go on, get your fork, get your salad together, put on your headphones. You're definitely going to need your headphones for this one. There's also a big old trigger warning for this episode. But first, hit the like button, hit like on all the videos, subscribe to the channel. That helps us gain other true crime friends. So listen, first of all, trigger warning. This episode includes references to abuse of small, cute, furry animals and children and women, possibly men, everybody. They abuse everybody in this episode. They also abuse flowers, and that is a crime. Okay, so look, this is what happened. Christina, you know we talked about, listen, if you have not listened to the first 3 parts of this, you're going to need to listen to those first for reference, because I'm just going to go right through it. I'm not explaining people more than absolutely necessary, because there is a lot to talk about today, and we only got time for lunch. Okay, so look, Christina's dead, right? She's like 40, 41, something like that, which honestly, I thought she was younger than that. Everyone was like, she was young, she was vibrant. Not that 41 is old. It's not. It's still 10 years younger than me. But I was just like, I somehow thought she was 22, not 42, but whatever. She was young when she had this baby. Well, young-ish. So Christina, by the time she got to her late 20s, she had been divorced 2 times. Okay, that happens. Maybe you get divorced. You marry your high school sweetheart. That don't work out. And then you get you a second husband. And you're like, ooh, I'm bad at choosing men. And that don't work out. Okay, fine. So then she got with this third dude, John Mello. She's in her late 20s. And she's like, look, I have been through some things. I've been married twice. And there's no police reports or whatever. We don't know that those dudes were terrible people. Here's the problem. Christina ultimately is a murder victim, but she's not a good person. We prefer to think of our murder victims as like they lit up a room and they were sunshiny and everybody loved them, and kitties and puppies and bunnies, everybody loved her. Plus, she was a vet tech. She worked down there at the vet with the cute little cute little baby. Anyway, So, turns out she was a horrible human being, but we didn't know that till after she's dead, which is worse because there's no time for her to redeem yourself. Child, once you slip the surly bonds of this earth to touch the face of God, to quote George Bush or whoever said that, Walt Whitman, somebody, it's too late for you to be like, ooh, I'm sorry for that terrible thing I did. Especially if people find out you did terrible things when you was alive and they didn't know. And now they looking at you like, Only they looking at your gravestone like, what was she up to? What else did we not know about her? So look, Discount Mandy Madney over there at Fitz News. Okay, so she's telling us the story today, right? But it starts off with a long disclaimer from Will Folks. You know, I have very mixed feelings about Mr. Will Folks, but Will Folks wrote about this situation so beautifully that I was like, I can see why Will Folks got 7 kids. I can see him talking a woman's pants off of her 7 times. Probably not many more than that. Child, word on the street is that he got into Nikki Haley's drawers, but you ain't heard that from me. So anyway, Christina is on her 2nd marriage, right? And she was like, okay, this marriage is not gonna go good. I'm gonna leave him and I'm gonna go to school. I'm gonna become a veterinary tech and I'm gonna get my whole life together. And she meets this dude, John Mello. And so she's like, oh, hey, John, I love an older man. And you, my friend, are an older man. She was in her like late 20s. He was in his late 40s. Okay, I like a daddy. I love me a zaddy. Okay, so anyway, although I married a younger man, I should have married a zaddy. But then, you know what? Like, this is the thing. When you're young, if you marry an older man, that's hot. But then by the time you like middle age, you're like, that's wrinkled. You don't want no wrinkled ones. And maybe it don't work. He need Viagra, child. Who needs that? Anyway. So, she thought she was like going from a terrible situation into, a better situation. And it looks like she went from the frying pan into the fire because John Mello love bombed her. You know, love bombers. They're just like, I love you. I love you. Aren't you wonderful? Oh my goodness. Oh, you're the queen. Whatever. So he made her feel like she was something special, even though he was married with 2 teenage kids when he became obsessed with her. Okay. Number 1, he's undateable. On the strength of he's already married with 2 teenage children. If that marriage is still valid, I don't care how long they've been separated. Boy, you good and grown. You should have enough money saved up that you can go and finish that divorce. You can love me from afar. Go and build that altar to me in your house because that is what I prefer. Love a child. I love a man who's obsessed with me, but not in the like, I could kill you type of obsessed. Like, oh, isn't she pretty? That's the kind of obsession I prefer. Please and thank you. So he became obsessed with her. And the wife was like, oh, well, you was beating me up and torturing me anyway, so I'm going to let you go. So they get divorced. And then he moves in with Christina. And they're like, oh, we're going to make a happy home. And all too quickly, he was like, you got to get pregnant. You got to get pregnant. She's like, you got 2 teenage kids. I'm in my 30s. Like, I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. He was like, got to get pregnant. Got to get pregnant. Everybody was like, he was so keen on getting pregnant, but they couldn't figure out why. But she was in love and he was in love. Well, he was obsessed. And that, my headphones just turned off. Did my sound go off? Look, I'm about to rip out these headphones and keep it moving. So he's all obsessed with her, right? And he's just like, okay, we got to have a baby. Now we realize he wanted her to have a baby so he could trap her in that relationship. And it was like, oh, that's not going to go good. So look. So she gets pregnant and she has this baby and he's like, I love you. I love the baby. I'm also nuts and I'm gonna stalk and possibly kill you. And they broke up, right? After the baby was born, they broke up and the baby was still a wee little teensy fresh out the package baby. And he was like, I want full custody. What, older man? You want full custody of my only child, the only fruit of my loins? You wanted the whole thing all to yourself? No, you're not doing that. Oh, no, you're not. So they start fighting over custody and they fight over custody for years. Literally every day of this girl's life, they have fought over custody for her. She's only 10 at this point, right? So he's torturing her. He's stalking her. He's doing all this stuff. Remember how I said she went from the frying pan into the fire by being with John Mello? And she was like, oh, look, there's some more wrinkly balls over there. I think I'm going to date that. So then she meets her next boyfriend, whose name escapes me right now, but his name don't matter. But anyway, because this is about her, not him. So she goes to this next dude, also an older man, also who was kind and loving to her. Okay, cool. So she's like, I'm climbing out of this fire. She didn't know she got back into the frying pan because he was also terrible. But she didn't know that at first, right? So they're living happily ever after. They're like, okay, we got this little house. We living together and everything is cool. And he's like, I love her and I'm going to protect her and I'm going to be good to her child. Meanwhile, her ex, John Mello, is stalking, filing police reports, filing claims, saying all these terrible things about them. Oh, yeah, the child is being abused. Oh, the child is being intimately abused and all this other stuff. He complained about everything. He said, she didn't have breakfast this morning, I'm calling child services. She didn't brush her teeth properly, I'm calling child services. He called child services for everything, every minute of every day. And everybody was like, John, we're going to need you to calm down because you look crazy. And he was like, okay, I'm going to solve this problem. He took his child and went to Italy. He claimed Italy was his homeland. Turns out his homeland is Massachusetts. Why he chose Italy, I don't know. Maybe he wanted them good cannolis. I don't know. But he went to Italy and Christina was like, he has taken my child. Not without my daughter. Y'all seen that movie where the lady got to go to another country and get her kid? That's the situation Christina was in. So she was like, oh, no, I got the number for the State Department. I'm going, hello, State Department. This fool has taken my baby and we will not have it. So she used like the U.S. government and customs and whatever you use to get your kids back. And they went over and they got her child and the child was returned. Only John Mello stayed over there in Italy. Okay, good. Because that's the first time in her entire relationship with him that he was not driving her crazy. She's like, I have figured out the key. Keep him in another country and then I'll have to worry about it. And I got my child. Perfect. Only then she is violently murdered. And everybody was like, wait. We know he was out of the country, so he didn't do it. Who violently unalived her? Because that's not cool. Also, very, very, very illegal. And it turns out this dude who was a concert pianist, he's caught red-handed, literally red-handed. The blood on his hands, like he was caught. They got him on videotape. They got him on Ring camera. Everything you can record this boy on, they got him recorded on. And he's like riding a bike over to the scene. They got everything but him just like, you know, doing her in, right? And then after he violently unalived her, he killed some flowers. Now listen, I thought that he like unalived her and then like sprinkled her body with rose petals. Turns out that he used roses to beat her with. Can you be bludgeoned with flowers? Is that a thing? Did the thorns stick your hands? Because they said they found the rose petals, but not the stems. That is weird. Did he, in my mind, right? He has like one of those big grand pianos and he's playing Beethoven passionately. And then he gets mad and he jumps up and he dumps out a flower vase, pulls a knife out of the vase and stabs her violently and then beats her with the roses. And it's like, oh, these stems, we're going to put these back in the vase because we love a good vase. And he takes the vase and leaves. That's probably not what happened, but that's what I decided happened in my own mind. So, you know, just take that for what it's worth. It ain't worth nothing. But he did kill some flowers and he did kill her. And he did stab her like 30 some odd times in the face and neck. And everybody was like, this is terrible. While they were investigating this gruesome murder crime, child, that's when the other evidence gets uncovered. So look, they go to her boyfriend. They're like, hey, boyfriend, old dude, come here. You and your walker, get over here. We got some questions for you. So he's just like, yes. I mean, he wasn't that old. He's like in his 60s, but she was only in her 40s. So, okay, whatever. She clearly likes some wrinkly and hanging low because that's how that goes. So, they're like, sir, can we get your phone so we can see, like, we're just going to eliminate you. And he was like, oh, yeah, do I need a lawyer? And they were like, wait, what? What happened? While they were looking around her house, they found pictures of Christina in various states of undress. Okay, that's her prerogative and her business, along with her daughter in various states of undress. The mother and the underage child, fully all natural, in compromising positions with this man and with other children, not her daughter, also with some animals. Child, everybody, she didn't light up no room. I don't care what they said initially. She did not light up a room. She's horrible. So she was working as a vet tech. And she used to bring home like these strays and random puppies and kitties and fluffy bunnies and whatever. And now we know what they was. I would have preferred they just eat them. Like, honestly, I am not pro eating dog. I'm not, because it does not seem delicious to me. Plus dogs are awfully cute, although sheep are cute and they're delicious. So who knows? But lamb, not like full sheep, but I will eat a lamb. Okay. Anyway, but like, They was doing nasty things to children, her own children, somebody else's children, and other people's pets, and then homeless pets. Those are the most vulnerable among us. Because if you mess with my dog, I will have to unalive you, and it will be fully justified, because what you're not going to do is touch your hair on Daisy or Holly's head. But these dogs didn't even have vicious owners to protect them. These were small, helpless woodland creatures. Now, woodland creatures makes it sound like it was a bunny or a fox. It was not, because a bunny or a fox would probably claw your eyes out. Not a bunny, but definitely a fox or a wolf or something like that. You wouldn't have no parts and pieces left, because the bunny or the bunnies would have took it. I mean, the foxes would have took it right off with their claws and stuff. But helpless creatures, they doing nasty things. And because that's not enough, there's evidence that they disseminated these terrible, terrible pictures. These people are horrible. Absolutely horrible. So let me get this straight. You have 2 ex-husbands, and then you left the second ex-husband to go be with the man who ultimately stalked you and contracted to have you unalive. And then you left the stalker to go with the bugger, because when you do nasty things to animals, that's called buggery. He's a Pedialyte and a bugger. Girl, you got terrible taste in me. Honestly, I don't think it's a good thing that she's no longer on this mortal coil. But if she was, she would be garbage. Even as a unalive person, she's garbage. I'm just gonna desecrate her memory right now. But she desecrated her own memory. Ain't have nothing to do with me, because you know what I do with my dogs? I spoil them. I love them. I overindulge them. Do I make them homemade food? Yes, I do. I get up early in the morning and I boil down some brown rice. Here's a recipe. Grab a pen, child. Grab a pen. So I get me some chicken livers or some chicken hearts, either one, but they really like the chicken liver. Chicken livers and brown rice and canned pumpkin. I put some salt in there, like the kosher salt, because my dogs are Jewish, and some rosemary, and I mix it all up and I cook it down. And then I put in a bag. This is a special part they like. Now, if I have fresh zucchini, then I put the fresh zucchini in it. Otherwise, if it's winter or something, I go on over to my grocer's freezer and I get a bag of that California mix. You know, it has like the squashes and the cauliflower and the broccoli. Then I just put that in there frozen while the food is still hot, and then like let the heat from the food like melt down all the vegetables, and then I mash it with my potato masher, and then I separate it out. The pumpkin stirred it. Oh, they love some pumpkin. And then I store it in my freezer. I make big giant batches of it. Every single morning they get some of that. That's what I do for my dogs. Do you know what she did for her dogs? Not that. Not that at all. Also, my dogs are healthy. They are in excellent health. Hers, she did unspeakable things. And so then arrest came, and everybody was like, oh, obviously her boyfriend is getting arrested for unaliving her. It's like, no. Her boyfriend is getting arrested for being a Pedialyte and a bugger. This other piano playing dude, we don't even know how he got involved. We suspect, because the piano playing dude, he was real good friends with her ex, the baby daddy, who was living over there in Italy. This whole story is messy. And the flower mutilation is just, everything about this story is too much. Everything about this story is too much. Also gross. Also, I'm mad because this story got me thinking positive things about Will Folks. You know how much I like to dislike him. That is one of my favorite hobbies. I'm just saying. And discount Mandy Madney over there. Listen, you know what I know? You know what I know? This girl, Jen Wood, whatever her name is, I'm sure she does a fine job, whatever. But I've seen her and I'm like, well, girl, you are no Mandy Madney. You are not pesky. You are not a female detective. You over there just taking Will Folks' word for things and then reading the scripts that he wrote. And good for you, because you got a job. Good. Stay off the public system. Go and get you some experience or whatever. I don't think Will Folks pays that good, because everybody over there who works at his news channel is like 12. And you can pay 12-year-olds not a lot of money. Us grown folks, child, we're going to need some money and some benefits. So get your act together, Will Folks. Anyway, this is not about none of them. This is about the assault of children and puppies and flowers. So look, I hope I did not ruin your lunch. I'm just trying to keep you up to date on what is happening on this Rose Petal murder case out of Greer, South Carolina. South Carolina, I'm looking at y'all crazy. I saw a story about like something terrible that happened in New Jersey. That dude was awful too. I'm gonna have to dig that up so I can do a true crime lunchtime on him. But you know what he didn't do? Mess with no flowers or kids or puppies. Like, Some of these Jersey people are terrible. I know because I live here, but they're South Jersey people. North Jersey is fine. We fine. I mean, yes, they might steal your money or something, but they not going to unalive you in the process. I'm just saying, yes, you will be broke, but like Wells Fargo will give you your money back. Don't worry about it. It's going to be fine. Okay. I need you to go and finish your lunch. I need to go and get back to work because this work's not going to do itself. Okay, y'all have a great, safe day. Oh, and you could go back and rewatch this episode and play bingo, and maybe you'll get a prize. Here, let me throw you out some free ones. Dead like a carp on the floor. My cute doesn't happen naturally. Will folks is terrible. There you go. That's like a couple of free squares right there. I hope you get bingo. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.